Nobody had said they had issues with the candidates. Nobody said so. But deliberately, the government party were trying to skew the debate to look at if people are talking about qualifications. We have not reached that stage yet. We are talking about procedures being followed. I received my document yesterday in the afternoon, precisely at 2:25 p.m. and we were expected to go ahead with the interview. I see no way how I will do justice to the people of Sierra Leone who sent me here. If I receive the documents at 2:25 to interview a candidate as important for that position is. So we agreed as a party, and I'm sure the NGC also have the same view, that we should defer this particular interview to another date so that we'll have enough time to look at the document themselves. Why the rush? Nobody knows. We have not questioned the conduct of the president, because we are House of Parliament, we know what we are supposed to do. But the procedures followed, we believe, are not right, they're not correct, and until what is right is being done, until they comply with the Anti-Corruption Act itself, I'm sure you have read sections 4, and even the eligibility, sections 3 and 4. Because now questions are coming out again about the eligibility. Because I've just been informed, this is why we're asking for more time to do due diligence, that my colleague Ben Kaifala started his pupillage on the 14th of November 2007, having been called to the bar on the 3rd of November 2007, and that he was enrolled as a legal practitioner on the 29th of December 2008. And if you go through his certificates, the wordings are very, very clear. He was called to the bar, as I said, on the 3rd of November. You will see, you're called having completed the prescribed courses of study and training, and was on the 3rd day of November 2007 awarded the bar final certificate. On that day, you are awarded the bar final certificate. When you go to the certificate dated 14th November, it says was registered in the temporary register kept for the registration of pupil barristers. It's very clear that your registration is to enable you identify the date of commencement and conclusion of a pupil. But when you go also to the next document, which is dated 14th November 2007, the certificate is also very clear. It says, it is hereby certified that on this day, Francis Kaifala was admitted and enrolled. So it confirms that that is the day you are enrolled as a legal practitioner of the Republic of Sierra Leone. And that certificate is dated 29th December 2008. When you go to the Anti-Corruption Act, it's clear. It says, shall be a legal practitioner having not less than 10 years practice in his profession with proven managerial experience and of conspicuous probity. So when you start counting the 10 years, we've been told it's for the court, but the documents speak for themselves. They're very, very clear. But these are just some of the basics. We've not gone into those details. What happened today is completely in contrast of what is supposed to happen. We did not vote in the committee, and as a committee, when we meet, all committees, you take a decision. There was no decision taken, and I said it publicly today in the chamber. No decision. So for the report to say it is unanimous, I said it is fraudulent. Those were my statements. Those were my words, that the report is fraudulent because it was not unanimous. We did not vote. It's only when you vote you know what the division is, whether it's 1 to 2, 3 to 3. Now it is claiming to be unanimous. And myself and all my colleagues never voted, so how can it be unanimous? And we were present. I also said to the speaker during the course of the debate, one of my submissions, and 2 members of parliament who were present initially when we met and agreed to take a break and come back at 5, we were not present for the interview. So how can their names be mentioned? There is a distinction between being present at the initial meeting. Don't forget, you were in the room, there was an adjournment. There was an adjournment. We were not saying they were not present when we initially met. But when we came back after the adjournment, they were not there. And you also know, in your presence, that nothing transpired when we first met. We agreed to go and come back, and we met in camera.
Certain members of parliament have started expressing dissatisfaction over the overturning of votes made in the House today when the Deputy Speaker gave it to the left side of the House and later returned the votes to the right side of the House. Do you have a position on that?
That also is very clear in the rules. The Speaker's decision is final. When you rule on a matter, except it is reintroduced, you cannot open it again. He had ruled that we had it, the eyes, and then he reopened it on his own volition. There was supposed to have been a motion to that effect, and not today. It should have been revisited on another day because he had ruled already. The mistakes or the actions that contradict what we were supposed to do are many.
Well, as you noticed, some of you who were in the committee meeting yesterday, there were 13 members present. 7 of us had objections to the procedure because we did a vote. 7 out of 13, and so we had to stop the process to confer within committee, and we conferred. We stressed our concerns about the procedures that we were following. First of all, I have stated over and over in Parliament that for us to do our work right, we need documents to be given to us in advance. The position we were going to consider yesterday, first of all, the meeting was ad hoc. Some of us did not know there was going to be a meeting until by accident we came here. Remember, the Parliament had been adjourned. So we came here for other reasons, and suddenly we were thrust with documents. We don't have enough time to do due diligence. Second is, if we have an important position like that, we need to give the public time to feed us with information. So some of us did not understand the rush, given the importance of the Anti-Corruption Commission. And so we raised that, we discussed it, we agreed that okay, we'll take a break and we'll reconvene at 5. When we reconvened and we were asked to go out and consult, some of us said we needed to consult our political parties, given the sensitivity of the position, which we went out, all of us did. And the agreement was that we will come back as committee, closed session, to discuss the process before, and we take a decision whether in fact we will continue, we'll do the interview. We came back and suddenly the candidate was called in, and some of you were there. We raised objections again. We said, wait a minute, this is not what we agreed on. They shut some of us down not to speak, and the process continued. The leader of the APC in that committee and myself, we said, wait a minute, this is not what we agreed on. After the interview, you don't interview the Anti-Corruption Commissioner for 13 minutes. Not in this nation, in any country that I have seen. 13 minutes, that's how long the interview lasted. 13 minutes for the person who is going to be making sure that people don't steal millions and millions of dollars in this country, as we have seen happen over time. 13 minutes. The committee that met, that was sitting there while this interview was going on, to which we objected, had 11 people, 6 plus 5. We finished, they finished, we sat there, we objected again that this procedure is wrong. There are many issues we need to discuss even before considering the candidate. Procedural, we have a constitution of the country. We also have an act of parliament establishing the Anti-Corruption Commission, and the procedures are explained well. Acts of parliament do not supersede the constitution, it is true, but they give effect. They give effect to the constitution, how things should be done, and they are approved by parliament. So the 2008 Act is very clear. There are 4 positions in this country protected by the constitutional acts of parliament for good reason, to ensure their impartiality, their independence and effectiveness. The Chief Justice, the Governor of the Central Bank, the Vice President, but the Act of 2008 for anti-corruption, also the anti-corruption. The anti-corruption individual has to be very, very independent, very comfortable. I feel very sorry for the young man. So a brilliant young man, you look at his, very brilliant, subjected now to a process that in itself is being questioned by many. And you look at the majority of that committee that met. Those who wanted a better process were in the majority. So some of us have serious concerns. We've raised it. I called the speaker.
And those concerns you stated where you were supposed to meet this morning.
Yes, we agreed. Yes, the majority leader was correct. When we debated, it was contentious after the meeting, and we agreed, okay, so let us meet in the morning again before session to discuss further. So no report was approved, yet the report is brought to the web. A report is brought to the web, and the report makes a lot of claims. But what do you observe today? I stood up 4 times. I'm leader of a party. Yeah? Doesn't matter whether you have one person. I'm a leader of a party. I'm recognized in the parliament as a leader. I was stopped 4 times to express my view on an issue that is not only an important issue, legal issue for the country, but a constitutional one.
And those views are those views you express in committee level, or do they vary? Would like you to express them?
There's a whole lot more. But this practice of deliberately refusing some of us to speak in parliament means our parties will be speaking outside now. We cannot tolerate it. We were elected like anybody else here. There are privileges and immunities we enjoy in this parliament like anybody. People, again, the new direction cannot follow the old direction. People keep telling me every day, and the same thing happened over the last 24 hours. They used to do that. They used to do that, and they give you many examples, and we say, look, we were not here. This is the new direction. You cannot repeat the bad habits of the past. And today you saw what happened in Parliament. We are not allowed to speak. I stood up 4 times. By the procedures of Parliament, any major debate, the leaders of parties are allowed the privilege to do the closing as well. They speak and they close. Today I was denied again. So I'll go consult my party. Yesterday we met, my party met till 10 at night. Because this is an important issue for the country. The last regime, and by the way, if you look at the history here, SLPP in December 4th, 2007, SLPP walked out of this well of parliament when J.D. Rogers was wrongly removed. What the leader of SLPP at that time said, and you can look at Awoko and some of the other newspapers at that time, and I quote, the minority leader, Momo Puche, said the sacking of Dr. J.D. Rogers contravened Section 15.2 of the Bank of Sierra Leone Act. And I quote what he said on the well of parliament before they walked out. We have nothing against Dr. Samora, but the procedure used to remove his predecessor is what we're kicking against, and we don't want to be part of this illegality. End of quote. I see things happening now in parliament that worry me. When Anes Kuruma also decided that he wanted to change his vice president, some of us spoke out. Follow the procedure so others don't do the wrong thing. And ECOWAS proved right, and you had His Excellency the President, when he addressed Parliament, he also referred to the fact that yes, what happened to Sam Sumana was wrong. Well, there is an act, 2008, that describes the procedures. Nobody questions the President's right to appoint. Nobody. But for the sake of due process and legality and constitutionality, let us not begin to do the things others did against the Constitution and acts of Parliament. And then we justify that it is expedient, we have to do it fast. A tribunal could be set up in no time. Could set it up. What is the rush here? Will somebody die tomorrow if the anti-corruption leader is not approved today? I feel sorry for the young man. Brilliant young man, subjected to a cloud. It is on record. You cannot say 68 members of APC are irrelevant. They tell you here they don't agree. That's a large number. But also, it is not against any. I think some people deliberately try to misadvise the government, to rush things, to do things. And they force some of us now to take a moral position. This is not proper. And they use the authority of the parliament and positions. But these same people, I have heard them in meetings, condemning what happened the past 10 years. Now here, this is worse. Because now we use parliamentary procedures as well to justify, and people would say in the future there is precedent. That's why some of us speak out. We speak out to say no, wrong is wrong. Let us follow process so others don't do the same. And to come in parliament an elected official and they refuse me to speak, is that correct? Do you think that is correct? I stood up 4 times in this well, and I'm a member of the committee. Why should I be stopped? So the only recourse we have is to go to the media, and then eventually we will also now organize. My party is very strong on this. Very, very strong. We've consulted lawyers and others. You saw what happened. The vote was changed. You, in front of you are media, be neutral. You saw what happened here. Can you tell me the people on this side were less than the people on the other side? Of course not. So yes, it affects your democracy, because what happens? We are your representatives. We're supposed to check. It's separation of powers. We have to check excessive power. If we cannot do it here, and we're not allowed to speak, and our votes are turned, then yes, your democracy is at risk, and we'll speak out. We could have had processes done, and this young man, brilliant young man, I looked at his credentials. I said, wow, the poor fellow, before even coming in, there is a cloud. We hope he is able to perform his function. But I hope he realizes eventually, if he's in that office, that now he has a cloud, and now he has to prove to us that he's worth it, that he is worth the position, that there will be no secret clouds going forward. It's a pity he had to be subjected to this. And I asked the question, what is the emergency? What is the emergency? Where is it? Is somebody going to die today? It was by accident I came to Parliament. The notice went out at 11:23. After we had been told Parliament is not sitting, suddenly there is a text message. The majority party wants me to oppose. No, we oppose as a party on this issue. We've had our party meetings. We've had our own lawyers examine the issues. So we speak as we see fit. I'm speaking the position of my party on this topic for the record.